What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 90210 Folk Show. That's right, everybody. This is a 90210 from 1990 to the year 2000 podcast talking about the hit show 90210 Beverly Hills. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, everybody, let's get this started. This episode, not bad episode. It's not bad episode. It's technically episode 9. Isn't it romantic? Isn't it romantic? Episode 9. I think it's actually episode 10 because they don't count really the pilot as an episode, I assume. I might be wrong. It was written by Nancy Malone. All right. Also, I'm sorry, it was directed by Nancy Malone. Written by the very famous and creator of 90210, Darren Star and Karen Rosin. Karen Rosin, everybody. This episode is a lot about Brenda. It's a lot about Brenda from how I take it, and also a little bit of Dylan McKay. Dylan McKay. Classic scene where at the beginning Brenda comes out. She's talking to Brandon. He's working on his old Cougar out in the parking lot, right? He's got grease on his face, of course. Hair and makeup's doing it correctly, putting a little grease on your face. Everybody gets grease on their face when they work out on cars, right? Yeah, it's Brandon. So Brandon's definitely got that. So Bren comes out, right? That's short for Brenda. People don't really listen to 90210 Faux Show that much. I like to refer to Brenda as Bren, okay? The same thing when I'm talking about Kelly Taylor. I like to call her Kel. So please keep up if you would. I'm not trying to be a snob about it. And so Bren comes out and gives Brandon the sass of hey, we're twins. Let's talk about it. And whatever gets you through the night, Brandon. Right? And as soon as she says that, guess who slides from out of the car under the car? The guy's under the car on one of those little slider things that mechanics have. And he's got a little bit of hair and makeup done also. And he just looks, it's Dylan McKay. And he looks Brenda from top to bottom, from them thick ankles all the way up those thick legs, and then all the way up to her little Midwest face, and goes, that's what I tell myself, whatever gets me through the night. And then they do like a little flirtatious thing. This is the second time that they flirt. It's not the first time, but it's the second time that they do a little flirty thing. So you see the Brenda and Dylan thing is definitely gonna happen. And this episode, it's for sure gonna happen. All right. So then, so let's get this thing moving. All right. It's obviously showing that Dylan is interested in Brenda. Let's just cut to the chase. Dylan's out there. He's working on Brandon's car, right? Guess who comes out with Dylan? Got all this grease and dirty stuff all over him. Jim Walsh comes out. They kind of have some words, and Dylan out of nowhere. This must be what like people in Beverly Hills do, which I really don't believe it. But for the storyline, let's just go through it. Dylan was like, "Hey, Mr. Walsh, you mind if I jump in the shower and get cleaned up, right? And as long as I get in the shower and get cleaned up." And then what blows my mind is how Jim Walsh comments on Dylan McKay's earring. He has a loop earring in his left ear. Does anybody remember that? I mean, when that was a thing. I like how people don't realize, not trying to get political, how we've came a long way, and we still have a very long way to go also with LGBTQ community, which I hardly know anything about. But it's amazing that this thing aired January 1991, this thing aired. And they're making comments about earrings in the left ear. Like, you going to take that left earring out or when you shower? And he was like, no, not really. That we go from a looped earring in 1990, January, to now where a woman can walk down the street that was originally born possibly a man. And we're training ourselves to don't even question that, dude. There's nothing wrong, and of course there's nothing wrong, whatever. But what's crazy is how it used to be an earring used to be like raising the eyebrow too. And anyways, it just shows you how long how far we've came in such a short time, and we still have such a long time to go. Also, whatever. It was just observation that I noticed. So anyways, so Dylan goes up and gets in the shower, right? And of course Brenda goes, "Brandon," into the bathroom. "Brandon, you're always taking a shower." And then boom, who pops their head out? Dylan McKay, okay? Dripping wet Dylan McKay. And Brenda's just like, "Oh my God, you can take my virginity right now, please. please, right? Dylan gives her a little smile and blah blah blah. Anyways, it's good. I see what's going. She's checking him out in the mirror. He knows what he's doing. All right. He asked her to go to like an old movie theater because that's so Dylan McKay, where he's like, "You want to go see Gremlins? What a fucking loser! Gremlins 2? Ugh, get the fuck out of here. Back to the Future? Are you a freaking loser? No. Guess what? We're gonna go see some Betty Davis movie, and you know what I'm saying, with like." You know, that's Dylan's whole thing. So Brandon notices this. Brandon notices these guys are kind of flirting with each other, whatever. Brandon's playing it cool. That's a good thing about Brandon. You know, he's just playing it cool. Brandon's a good guy, right, Brandon? Ugh, Brandon gets in a lot of trouble next episode. I don't want to jump to that one. My God. Brandon, what did you do? I couldn't even watch it. So it shows this episode. It shows that Dylan and Brenda are kind of getting hot and heavy pretty early. Another thing it shows, Dylan goes back to his hotel room. He's trying to take Brenda back to his hotel room, right? And comes to find out his dad, Jack McKay, which is not the same Jack McKay in the future, the handsome guy that plays Jack McKay in the future. I don't know his name, but that guy's a real famous actor. It's not the same Jack McKay. Jack McKay, currently on 90210, this episode, takes Dylan into the other room, yells at him, says, "You're making blah, 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 blah." Brenda can hear this. Dylan comes out. He's going to pour himself some brandy or scotch. Brenda goes, "What are you doing? You got to drive me," right? And this is pretty weird because they get an argument outside the hotel. Dylan, he fucking takes a flower pot, slams it to the ground. Brenda runs off like, "You're scaring me," right? It's so funny. It's like, who does this? I don't know. That's a little suspicious. Then he grabs her, hugs her. Like, "I don't know what to do. My dad's a jerk." And then they just start making out hard style, you know, just hard style. That hard making out, you know what I'm saying? That hard, like, that type of making out, right? Yeah, so then they bond right there. She knows, like, Dylan is fucked up. He is a wild boy. You know why? Because Jack McKay has fucked him up. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why. And as you go on with these episodes, you start peeling back some of these characters, and especially Dylan McKay. You know that, like, yeah, he does. He's soft on the outside, right? He's like an avocado. Like when you go to buy it, where you kind of squeeze it, you go, "Wow, this is kind of soft on the outside. It's kind of nice and firm, right?" But then when eventually you cut it open, and it's got that hard seed in the middle, and you're like, "What the fuck am I gonna do with this seed?" That's Dylan McKay. He's kind of like an avocado that's ripe right now, but something's definitely up, right? So as the episode's going on, it's basically like a Brenda, Dylan, Dayton episode. And I think Brenda's really thinking about, "I'm going to give this guy my little freaking virgin flower. How about that? Come get it, big boy." And so she's talking it over with her friends, kind of talking code, and her mom kind of knows what's going on and that type of thing. And as this is going on, you know, Dylan's getting hot and cold with Brenda. Brandon, being the good brother, goes up to him and goes, "Hey, man, what's your fucking problem?" He doesn't really say that, right? He doesn't say that. You're like, "You asked my sister to a Marx Brothers movie and you don't even show up? You douche. Who goes to Marx Brothers movies in January of 1991? Besides you and your freaking weirdo-ness." And, you know, Dylan's like, "Back off, Brandon." Because what happens is, this episode, Dylan's getting a lot of stress from his dad. Dylan's dad is, right now, word on the street by Jim McKay, or I'm sorry, by Jim Walsh, is that Dylan's dad is in the financial world is a scumbag. Okay, he's doing some you know, some things that aren't on the up and up in the financial world. So it's putting a little bit of pressure on Dylan, and Dylan's not really proud of his dad. You can tell. He says it, I think, in this episode where he's like, "You know, it's never been a pleasure to be, you know, Jack McKay's son." And you know, Brenda's getting all, you know, she's a young girl. She's like, why is Dylan getting hot and cold with me? And Brandon's like, "What's your problem, bud? Like, you know, you can close up on me, but you don't close up on my sister. Like, come on." He's like, "Leave me alone," you know, does one of those things. So cut to the side story, because, you know, they always like to do two moral things. So this one right here, I think the first moral of this episode is it's showing how, like, kids can go hot to very hot, and it's like, hey, we might want to, you know, they're going hot and heavy in a relationship pretty early to, like, hey, we should really check what we're doing. We're really just getting real steamy here on emotions and not really thinking it out. And that's one of the morals. Second one is teacher going to pick up a guest speaker for the school, right? Cars broke down. All right. Steve Sanders, being the sweet side of Steve Sanders, goes, "Hey, I'll pick up this person for you. Who is it?" Right? And comes to find out it's this hot piece of ass that Steve's picking up, right? Steve goes to pick this woman up, right? Woman's a hot piece of ass. Let's just say that. For 1991 in January, yeah, she's a cutie, okay? And Steve starts hitting on her, saying, like, "Hey, I'm not the student, I'm a teacher there, right?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, you know?" And she kind of flirts back a little bit with Steve or whatever like that. You know, Steve being a young guy, he thinks he's got this. And comes to find out, the speaker comes to the school, all right? Speaker comes to the school and starts talking. And basically she says, "Yeah, I got AIDS, all right?" So another thing, 90210 is tackling AIDS, which is pretty cool, right? I mean, they're tackling, let's just go over some of the things that they already tackled in the first, 8 to 9 episodes before this. First of all, off the top of my head, they already tackled Jackie Taylor with a coke problem. Okay, they didn't have to do that. All right, they tackled with teen suicide hotline. They didn't have to do that. They tackled it with God. I really can't think. It's early in the morning when I do these podcasts, so it's one of those things where I have to go. I have to go through it. But that's the cool thing. They didn't have to do this stuff. It could have just been fluff. You know, it could have just been like a couple hot piece of ass young people and some scrape in the storyline. But no, they actually cut a little bit deeper, which they didn't have to. So they're talking about AIDS, episode 9, aka 10 episode, and Steve Sanders is kind of like, wow, I was hitting on this woman. She has AIDS, and he kind of learned a little bit about that, and then also sticks on the same topic of Dylan and Brenda possibly having sex a little too fast, and hey, check yourself because you can get AIDS, or you get STDs. I like how they just talk about it. I like on all these STDs they always worry about. They always worry about AIDS and they don't even worry about the little STDs like chlamydia out there, right? Oh God, who wants to get chlamydia? All right, nobody. Anyways, let's not get off on a tangent. But this is definitely a sex episode, and comes to find out, this lady does the AIDS speech. Brenda comes to thinking like, hey, I was going too hot and heavy with Dylan, and I should pump my brakes because I just really didn't think about it this far. I didn't understand that if we share PPs that we can get STDs, and so this is a strictly high school. You can tell Steve Sanders, which. Steve Sanders is a real dum-dum throughout these episodes, but they try to, they on a small way, they try to highlight like, he's like he's kind of like an innocent kid inside, but he's, he always has in front of him that rich kid, persona and stuff like that, kind of, lughead. But yeah, so this is definitely a sex episode. Come to find out, Brandon and Brenda, although they were getting pretty hot and heavy with some grab assing on the couch and really some really powerful kissing, and but come to find out, she says, "Look, I'm keeping this V card, bud." And Jim Walsh is kind of looking at Dylan. This is where he starts looking at Dylan like, "You're dating my daughter now? I don't really like you, okay?" But then also Jim Walsh is a smart dude, and Brandon or Dylan and how do I keep calling Dylan Brandon? Dylan and Jim Walsh kind of have a heart to heart where it's like, look, Dylan basically says. Jim Walsh, like, I've never been proud of my pops, okay? So, sorry about him, but it's the way I live, man. Dylan McKay, that's another thing. He's a bit too mature for his age. Like, this guy, he's walking around and he's delivering information like he's like, I don't know, like a 26 to 28-year-old guy that's lived life. And I mean, maybe he has, because you do learn some other things about Dylan as time goes on. And he's like, whoa, this young guy has really lived. But I mean, all these guys carry themselves like they're almost 30. Like, I mean, Andrea Zuckerman, nobody's running newspapers like that in 10th grade in high school. All right? I mean, nobody. I mean, Brandon's pretty put together. I mean, he's pretty, like, got it down. Like I don't know. It's a little suspicious, but let's just not try to think too hard about it. Guys, this is 90210 for show. Follow me on Instagram at Eric Pennell 1975. Please share this on YouTube and subscribe if you would. Guys, let's just keep talking 90210, 1990 to 2000. I can't wait till the later episodes where Valerie Malone and Noah Hunter get involved with it. Can't wait till Donna gets those fake breasts put on there and starts to have more of a role. That's one thing about these early episodes is that I become such a fan of Donna and David Silver, Donna Martin, David Silver in the future that I just really you don't see it in the early episodes. They don't really develop them at all. As time's going on, I'm starting to notice that Donna is getting a few more speaking roles, a little bit more, a little bit more, but it's not what we're used to and stuff like that. Guys, thank you so much for listening. If you want to listen to my other podcast on the Laugh Factory Network, it's called This Is for the Birds with Russ Williamson and Pat Kelly. Very funny pop culture website over there. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Let's go. Okay, bye now.